What's going on, folks? How are we doing tonight? We are going to put a timer up here. We're going to make this actually 15 minutes. I'm going to make this a short live tonight because you know what? It's the beginning of a holiday weekend, and who doesn't want to spend more time with their family? So let's put this up here for 15 minutes. We're going to keep this tight tonight. And hang on a second, we got to get rid of this, don't we? Got to get rid of that. How is everybody doing tonight? Let me know where you are. If you are on TikTok, I know it says YouTube, but you're facing the same problems that people on YouTube are. So I did want you to know that I gotta find this thing. I don't know where it went on me. Oh, there it is. There it is. Let's get rid of that. Oh, that's what I needed. Yeah, I gotta get rid of that. And hang on one moment. Well, that's close enough for now. All right, that is close enough for now. So anyway, this is what we are talking about. All right, I'm going to bring this over here. Then I guess I don't really need this now, do I? So we're going to get rid of that. Sorry, guys, I messed with this stuff a little bit earlier today, and it is not exactly the way that I wanted. So, but enough. All right. So, what we're going to talk about today in the time that we have, and we're already down to 13 minutes, what we're going to talk about is the way that you make money online, much more so than your views or your followers. Just like it said in the title, it's not about views and followers. Does anybody know what it's really about? Besides views and followers, does anybody know what it's really about? If you do, put it in the comments. And if you don't, I'll give you a couple of seconds and then I'm going to pull it up here. Because I actually gave you a hint a little bit. Anybody know? Here's what it is. And the reason that I learned this is I was on TikTok actually one day, and I was watching this guy, and he broke down business in such a way. It's not that difficult to have a business. It really, really isn't. But he broke it down in such a way that he said, this is all that it is about. All right? This is all that it's about. And you know what it is? It is solving problems. Let me put that on the other screen for you. Right? It is solving problems. That's all it is. If you can get somebody from point A to point B, in other words, everybody has a current situation that they're unhappy with, right? They have a situation where they are they're overweight, or they're broke, or they don't have a great relationship, or they don't feel good about themselves, or they have some sort of health issue, right? We all have something. Current situation. We're not happy about it. We want to change that situation. And so problem solving is actually transformation. And this is what I learned from this guy on TikTok 3 years ago. And if it wasn't for him 3 years ago, I wouldn't be where I was today, and I wouldn't have the type of business that I have. But all you have to do is use existing knowledge. This is a knowledge business. And that's what makes it so powerful, because knowledge businesses are like 90 to 95% profit. That's the best part about a knowledge business. It takes very little to do a knowledge business, and this is way, 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 way more fun and less complicated than any sort of other business. We're not talking about selling one-off products. We're talking about recurring income. We're not talking about just recycling something that everybody else is selling. We're talking about your knowledge, which is a unique offer. We are talking about something that, again, has massively high profit margins. You have 100% control over that. And it does not matter how many followers or views that you have. That is not the game, right? It's just like I said here, and I am looking for this. Sorry about that. It is just like I said here. It's not the views, it's not the followers. That's not your problem. Your problem is how you get paid. All right? That is the problem. How you get paid is what is holding you back. So, instead of that, I want you to think of it in these terms. All right, I'm going to pull this down a little bit. All right, I'm going to make myself smaller because it's not me that's the deal here. It is actually this that is the deal. All right? It's this. So think about these categories right here. Just think about these categories for a second. The cool thing is every single person watching this live right now on TikTok or YouTube, you have knowledge in one of these 8 categories, right? Like just looking at some of the people that are checking in on TikTok right now, security, defense, protection. You have a massive amount of knowledge about probably home or corporate security. Well, guess what? You could teach that to people because there's really 3 ways that you do this. There are 3 major categories that you do this. And they are right? Whoops, sorry about that. They are the knowledge buckets, right? They are the knowledge buckets. And I don't mind putting it in front of my face because it's got to be big for you to see. But the knowledge buckets are profession or career, personal problem, or a passion or a hobby. Now, I already showed you the categories there, right? I already showed you the categories. And they were hobbies, which is passions, right? Passion or hobby. They were money, health, spirituality, self improvement, sports, music, right? So you had all these categories of things that you could teach people. For example, there is a woman right now on TikTok who has a channel that I believe she pretty much devotes to project managers. In other words, how to get a job in project management. All right, so I'm gonna talk to you here. But she devotes her time in how to get a job in project management. That is a profession that she has obviously done for like a decade. So it's really easy for her to talk about how to get a job as a project manager because she's been one, right? So that's a profession. And you have built in credibility because you actually did the thing. Now, what's interesting is that a lot of people think that you have to have, I'm talking like decades of experience to teach other people, and you don't. And that's a good thing. But you do need to have consumed either 5 courses or 5 books on it. You need to have done it for 50 to 100 hours, and you need to be able to offer that transformation from point A to point B. But if you can do that, you are qualified to teach other people. Anybody remember that movie, Catch Me If You Can, by Leonardo DiCaprio, or with Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hanks, right? If you remember that movie, one of the things that Leonardo did as the main character, one of the things that he did that allowed him to trick people into thinking he was other people, because he basically assumed false identities and opened up credit cards and all kinds of crazy stuff. But what he did is to get specifically ahead and to get other people to believe him, one of the things that he did is he was a teacher. At age 18, he fooled an entire college into thinking he was a teacher. And you might say, well, how is he fooling 22-year-olds? And the reason he was able to do that is because when it was time to teach them, he had read one chapter ahead in the book. Just one chapter ahead in the book, and that allowed him to fool those people into believing that he was more knowledgeable than he really was. So that's all you have to do. You have to be able to be a couple of steps ahead of people so you can save them time, money, and headaches. That's all you have to do. Now I'm going to show you some quick stuff here. All right. This is YM Baby. YM, and let me get you the vertical version here so you can see her, right? So YM Baby, or Jade, this is what she does. She talks about trading on her Instagram channel, and she sends people to something called School, which is something I'm getting ready to tell you about. She makes $150,000 a month. MRR means monthly recurring revenue. That's not a typo, and I did not misspeak. $150,000 a month. All right? So, besides YM Baby, let's take a look at Nick. All right? Nick talks about Maker School. And Maker School is based off make.com, which is an automation website that teaches people how to do automations. And then you can go out, and what he does is he teaches you how to find clients that will pay you thousands of dollars for these automations because it helps their business. And he teaches you how to do those automations. All he does is do content here on YouTube. He sends people to his school, and he makes $250,000 a year. Or excuse me, a month. Sorry about that. That was a misspeak on my part. Yeah, a month. That's right. And then last but not least, the guy who's probably the most unlikely of success stories here. And look, these are just three major ones, okay? There's tons of others. All right, there's tons of others. I can show you them. If you don't mind me, would you mind me going a little bit longer so I could show you some more of these success stories? Maybe? Okay. So, Oscar decided he was going to looks max. Maxing is a big trending topic, right? People say max this or max that. Looks maxing, sleep maxing, whatever, right? It's a big topic right now. Well, Oscar makes content on Instagram and Facebook. He sends people to his school group, and he makes $300,000 a month, and he is 20 years old. So he found a need in the marketplace, and the way he does the looks maxing is it's actually positioned as looks maxing, but it's by getting healthier. It's by improving your health. You know, getting in better shape, improving your skin, all of these things. So he helps people look max that way. All right? So, yes, that is what these guys are making. All right, let me get out of this. How do we get out of here? Oh, sorry about that. I am all over the place here, guys. Sorry about that. There we go. All right. So, how do we do this? We use a platform called School. And this is where I'm going to do a little surfing with you. All right. And we're going to come over here. There we go. And you can see these are all communities in the School platform. Now, what School is I'm going to take you to mine. School is a place where you can have community, classroom, calendar, a leaderboard, and you can get paid. You can go live in here. You have this community where people can ask questions. They can post things inside of the community. So you have all of these options for these people. And then you have a classroom, right? And the classroom is this right here. So you can go into the classroom and you can learn inside the classroom with pre-recorded videos or just posts. Or you can have live events where, like, I'm having an event on Saturday for mine, which is a workshop for my premium folks, right? So you can have these events and then people just click on it and they attend the event live inside of school. School has 27 million users and it's growing by about 1 million users every 2 weeks. It is co-created by this guy named Alex Hormozi. I don't know if you know who Alex Hormozi is. Let me show you him. You can find him. Let me look him up for you real quick. So Alex is a guy that is in charge of a portfolio of companies worth $250 million in revenue. This is Alex right here. And you can see Alex is a big deal because Alex, I don't know why that's not coming down a little bit. Alex has 4.31 million subscribers, but more than that, like I said, Alex manages a portfolio of companies worth $250 million, or they're doing $250 million in revenue. But the most impressive part is the fact that he owns 50% of this platform. And if Alex says it's a good idea in business, you probably want to listen. Now, because of his leadership with this platform and this business, this platform has a track record that won a little bit more actually than 50%. A little bit more than 1 out of every 2 people who have a community on this platform and that community is paid makes money. They profit every single month. Now, the way that you get started with this is you start your own community. And you can see it's super simple to start your own community. All you do is you click this little button and then you got a couple of options. Most people just start out with the hobby plan because it's the good place to get started, right? And then after that, they might escalate to the pro plan. But you can start with the hobby plan. It's all right, which means you're running a business for $9 a month plus a 10% transaction fee for everybody who joins your group. So when you think about it in those terms, you're running a business that could get as big as, right, what happened here? Where'd I go? Oh, sorry about that. You're running a business that could get as big as they were talking about, right? They were talking about, and what I was talking about was the people that I gave you the example of. Those people, you can run a business like that, right? And I know we're way over here, but we're out of time. But here's what I want you to do. If you find this, and by the way, even if you did not ever make it to the level of those other people, let's say you're not nearly as successful as those other people are, okay? And that's okay. That's fine. That's not a big deal. But let's say you're never as successful as those people who make $150,000, $250,000, $300,000. What if you could only make 5% of what they make? Do you know what that would be? Let me share some numbers with you. If you are only 5% as good as they are after a year, this is what would be happening for you. You would, if you're only 5% as successful as the person making $150,000 a month, you would be making $7,500 a month. If you were only 5% successful, that's what you would be making. If you were only 5% successful of the person making $250,000 a month, you'd be making $12,500 a month. And if you were crazy enough to be as 5% as successful as Oscar, who's making $300K a month, you'd only be making $15,000 a month. So do you see what I'm saying? This is life-changing money. And if you doubt this, they have a community. They have something called the games. Now, the school games was a competition that they used to have, and they would judge people for winning the competition by how much MRR, or monthly recurring revenue, they were able to create in a quarter, in a 90-day period. Look at some of these numbers. Almost 19,000 in a 90-day period. 7,000 in a 90-day period. Here's the music category, 8,600 all the way down to 2,900. And these are people that won a competition. Now, this guy, Samuel G., he's got a real estate community where he teaches people with no money down and not great credit how to buy a house without using a bank. And so within a 90-day period, yes, he created $124,000 a month in monthly recurring revenue. How did he do it? Believe it or not, he went live on TikTok. And for the first 45 days that he went live on TikTok, guess what? He was maybe talking to about 10 people a day. Maybe 10 people a day. So when you start talking about, why are you not seeing those? I'm curious. Why? I guess you guys aren't seeing that picture, are you? Oh, yes, you are. Okay. It was just delayed. So, oh, and I got to get off that, because if I don't, it's going to drive everybody nuts, because I know it drives me nuts when this happens. So, all right. But, so if you want to check this out, you can go to mine. Now, if you want a couple more examples, let me show you some people in my own group. And I'm proud of these, because these are personal results of people that I have helped. Here's my friend Cindy, who is also very big on TikTok. And Cindy has, I think, like 275,000 members, or, followers on TikTok. She started a community, and within 30 days, she was making $3,000 a month. Or my friend Ray, who's 66 years old, he also found me on TikTok originally. He started a community. He's got 13 members paying him $87 a month. Or my friend Jay, who also found me on TikTok. He's now got a community with 2,800 members in it, and he did that in about 6 months. He is a retired teacher from Michigan, and now he teaches teachers how to retire in 25 years or less, which is pretty early because most people work, 30 years. And then I have my friend Danny. Danny is what we call neurodivergent, so she thinks a little bit differently, and she learns differently than a lot of people do. And so what she said is, I found a place where I don't have to fit in. I found a place where I feel like I belong. And to me, that's one of the absolute best compliments that anyone can give me, is that. I don't know about you, but for me, that is as valuable as anything anybody will ever say to me. So we are way over, okay? But I just want you to understand that this is a real possibility for you. Real possibility. Let's take a look at a couple more of these success stories before we get out of here, okay? So this is my friend Amanda, and you can look, she shared her experience. Now, she's talking about something called Growth Boost. Growth Boost is a program where school is actually advertising for people to get members in their group, and they're advertising on Facebook and Instagram. So they're running meta ads to help people make money. And in about a 2-month period, she went from $2,000 a month in revenue to $4,000 a month in revenue. And she got, oh, I'm sorry, no, this is Jesper. I'm sorry, but Jesper got, these are small, I apologize. So Jesper got 4 times the traffic because of this school growth boost, right? So that's pretty cool. But here's a guy that has really absolutely taken school by storm, and it's this guy. This guy is Ethan. Ethan decided 6 months in advance of the release of Grand Theft Auto 6, he was going to start a Grand Theft Auto training community. And his promise is that he'll help you make $1,000 playing Grand Theft Auto or being involved with Grand Theft Auto 6 before the game even releases. It's a pretty compelling pitch. But in less than a month, he has found 200, and I can actually show you live. Let's show you live. Let's see if that number has jumped. Because you know what? I will bet you it has. I will bet you it has. So let's whoops. Sorry about that. That's where we want to go. Okay. So, yes. You see this community right here? And he is number 3 in trending, which is really impressive. But look what this guy has done. All right. This is really, really cool. So he's now up to 308 members. When I made that last slide, he was at 260. He's up to 308 members. After a free trial, look what they're paying him. $25 a month. Now, he's getting a lot of his from these growth boost ads. But even paying school a 30% commission for sending him all these members, here's what he's making. So 308 times 25 equals 7,700. He's keeping 30% of that. So we're going to multiply that by 70. He's making $5,300 a month teaching people about Grand Theft Auto. And he just started this community 3 weeks ago. So this is what I'm talking about. This is the opportunity to teach something that you love, that you have in your hands. So if you are interested in finding out how this works and how you might want to do this for yourself, visit the link in my bio, which is my community, and I'm going to show you what my community looks like once again. Let's pop that baby up here. So that is my community. Now, I do it in dark mode, but you can just go here, and then you can see, after a free trial, mine's only $9 a month. And I'm going to teach you how to build one of these communities. I'm going to teach you how to figure out what problem you might want to solve for people. I'm going to help you figure out what offer you might want to make to them, who that you want to make that offer to. I'm going to help you figure all of that stuff out by being in my community. So if you want to check that out, look at this. I did this the other day, and I used ChatGPT to do this. I thought this was really cool. So I'm going to bring myself down here. So this is turn your audience into $1,000 a month or more without relying on views and followers. So if you want to check that out, the link is in my bio here on YouTube. And if you are watching me on TikTok, because they don't like you putting links on stuff on TikTok, you can go to my YouTube, because there's a link for my YouTube in my TikTok. You can go there, and then there's a link right there in my bio. Or you can go to school.com/cashflowcircle. That works too, right? But it's school.com, and this thing has community, classroom, calendar, and cash collection all in one place. So we're going to turn off the timer because I am way over. But you know what? When I get to talking about this thing, I can't stop because I am so excited about this platform and what it's able to do that I just can't stop talking about it because I've been involved with it for 3 years and I've seen so much growth in this thing in the last 3 years. It's absolutely nuts. So check it out if you want. Check out our community. You got 7 days. You got nothing to lose by checking it out for 7 days. And then on day 6, it's not for you. Leave. No commitment, right? It's like test driving a car. You'd certainly test drive a car before you decided whether or not it was for you. You would certainly not just look in the windows of a house to decide if it was for you. So the only way you can make a real informed decision is actually getting on the inside at no cost for 7 days. And then even if you decide to stay after 7 days, it's a whopping $9. It's not even the price of a McDonald's Happy Meal these days. So check it out if you want to. And I hope you have enjoyed finding out about this. I don't know if you knew about it before, but I hope you have enjoyed that. And we will see you next time.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.